How's it going, everybody? Welcome to week 6. Quiz 1 is done. Good job. Overall, everyone did really well. Now you know that's kind of what my quiz is going to look like. The format keeps pretty much the same all the way to the final. There might be a few little tweaks here and there, added things, but that's pretty much it. The first part, I think everyone got clear with. I corrected any mistakes, but if I didn't correct one, please let me know. Look it over. I also gave you feedback on your 5 Ws. In fact, I uploaded I went through and I pulled out students from this quiz who answered the 5 Ws. I pulled out examples that I thought were good about what I was looking for. So Hammurabi, I was looking for the laws, but how they relate to justice, but how we talked about in class how they reflect society. So, and if you included an example of a law in your response, that'd be great. Akhenaten, again, good with, he's a pharaoh, his own religion. But, I was looking for some things from the documentary, changes of arts. Why his legacy was so short-lived was important to explain why. Some people just said, it was short-lived, but why was his ideas erased? 4 Varnas, again, social stratification. We've seen that throughout all civilizations. This is the one in the Vedic world. So that's kind of what I wanted to, both that here's this, what are the 4 Varnas, but also how they relate to Vedic society. So who are the Aryans? What are the Vedas? What language they speak? Where do they settle? In the Ganges? Those kind of things there. So again, just sort of practicing zooming out. Lapita people, again, people was good. Connections, right? I mean, Oceania history, but what were these canoe plans that they took amongst them? How does the pottery reflect the interconnections of these islands there with the Lapita peoples as well? And then Mandate of Heaven, again, this sort of legitimization of rule in Zhao, China. But then also, what did we learn about the Zhao? You could talk about literature. We did the I Ching, the Western Zhao sort of unity, and then sort of the breakdown of the Eastern Zhao as well. So that's what I'm kind of thinking about or I'd like is take a term and then sort of expand it out a little bit. So that's that. If you have any questions, please email me about quiz 1. This week we're shifting 2 things. We're shifting to this week. One, we're looking at empires. The idea of empires, I think I talk about it in the lecture there, and then how empires are a little different than civilizations because they're much more centralized, typically more diverse, a lot of different types of people there. Cultural diversity, religious diversity, all of these elements that make empires another sort of phase of world history, if you will. That it's not just this initial phase of cities and managing and connections, but, like some empires, connect civilizations, like, the Roman, as we'll get, connects Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Europe, or South Asia empires connect mainland South Asia with Central Asia, or China unifying large regions. So that's that. In South Asia context, we took a look at 3 early empires, the Mauryans, Kushan, and Guptas. The lectures talk about how they formed, but also what's unique about each one of those. And then the other big element that we introduced this week is epics and epic literature, because all cultures have stories, right? That's what transmits knowledge and beliefs and values. And we talk about that. I did under this South Asia epic ones, I put in a segment on Hawaiian epics because these are universal, right? These stories, every society has them. And I think maybe instead of jumping straight into South Asia, which people maybe are not familiar with, particularly a lot of names and ideas, Hawaii, right? Think about epics from here, from Hilo. What are some stories that people know about this place? Right. I gave it a link to the Hiaki Kapoleo Pele. That's an epic. That's an epic tale of Pele and Hiaka. And Pele gets this dream of Loiao and Kauai sends her sister Hiaka to get him. And then all the adventures that Hiaka runs into and sort of mapping knowledge about sacred Wahipana, sacred sites of this island and Oahu and Maui and Kauai and all of those. So, and then in the end, which I won't, if you should read it. It's a great epic. The battle between Pele and Hiaka. Why are they fighting? What are they fighting over? All those cool things. Pele she has a lot. I gave a video about Pele's stories. Kumulipo, another epic that tells about, creation myths and where the world came from and genealogies, and all of these things. So these epics aren't just like faraway things that are in the past. I mean, they're definitely in the present. These epics of South Asia, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, they're still alive today. I gave clips of, they make these movies, they make TV shows, movies. People, these characters are well known, right? Be like Arjuna, right? The words of Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, which is the reading this week, where Krishna reveals himself as the god Vishnu on the cusp of the Kurukshetra war. I mean, these things are still relevant and vibrant. People know these stories. And again, I mean, I can't in the midweek check-in summarize these, but the epics but check out, listen to lectures on them. But I mean, they're still around. They're still very much part of South Asian Indian culture and beyond. I mean, Krishna, this figure of Krishna, is all over Southeast Asia, Southeast Asia, Vishnu, Shiva, right? All of these things. And then the last part is religion. So some of the concepts in these epics, dharma, karma, moksha, samsara, these are very much part of these religious worlds as well. Hinduism is typically seen as an orthodox religion, sort of takes Vedic ideas and perpetuates them, whereas Buddhism gets rid of some of these concepts. It gets rid of the Varna system, that there's no inherent sort of class structure, hierarchy, that anyone can achieve moksha, or in the context of Buddhism, nirvana. It gets rid of karma, that we're not sort of weighted down by our past action, that we sort of, every moment is individual, so we can change our we can change our futures, and we can follow the Four Noble Truths, and adhere to the Eightfold Path. We're not sort of bounded by these earlier elements, whereas Hinduism, right, karma kind of dictates where you are in this Varna system, and through good karma that you accumulate, you'll go up and then ultimately achieve moksha through your deeds and actions, which is exactly what the Bhagavad Gita is all about: deeds and actions. How, right, that karma, your actions, you've got to do it based on your dharma, your duty, right? That Krishna says, Arjuna, you're a warrior, right? You can't not fight. You've got to act, right? Not acting is an action, right? Akarma, not doing it is an action, and that will have just as many repercussions as acting in accordance with your dharma and duty. So go for it, right? That non-action is an action. Right? So that's those. A lot of information this week, and also so pick one of those topics to answer in your discussion post. And the other big thing, look over the epic essay guidelines. Get familiar with that assignment. Pick your epic this week and find it. Right, I gave there's an epic archive there of PDFs of different epics. Take a look, find your own. The main thing is, pick something that you've always wanted to read, right? What is that story that from the past that you're interested in, and read it. And some of these epics are quite long, right? So just maybe you could focus on a chapter there. You could AI summarize the main things, main points, but then pick a chapter. But I do want you to read it, right? Get access to it. Access these epics. Read some of these stories, right? I don't want to please don't just like, quick AI summarize stuff and regurgitate it. Get in it. That's the whole point of literature, is to read it and enjoy it. So do it. And then we'll talk about more essay stuff as we go along. But great. All right. Have a good rest of your week.